start doing this so you can hear me. All right, Emma, Trish, Morris, what's up, guys? Donnie, don't see you, but you can hear me. All right, don't worry, Donnie. I'm not gonna pimp slap you. I was ready to do it though. I was ready to start body slamming some people though. All right, let's see. Lashandra can't hear anything. Lashandra, maybe if you restart, refresh it, because I had to kind of restart. Let's see. Ryan said no sound. Jay said, is it live? Of course it's live. What's up, Terrence? So a few people are saying no sound, and some people are saying sound. So I'm wondering, okay, Gay says yes. All right, so let's see. I'm going to do this one more time. Can you guys hear me now? All right, so if you can't, just refresh. If you can't, refresh. Let's see, refresh. All right, so you can hear. All right, so I'm just going to start. I'm going to start because quite a few of you guys, you can hear me. So we're just going to get going. So what's up, Greg, Sonia, Clay? All right. So, and by the way, guys, we are live. So at the end of this, you can ask all the questions you want. And as I'm going through the entire presentation, if you have questions, I might see some of them, but I might not see some of them. So we're going to see this. Can you guys? All right. So for those of you who can't, if someone can type in to the other people, maybe refresh their page. So most of you can hear me. So type in to A, hey, A, refresh your page. Type into other people, hey, refresh your page. So I'm going to get going, right? So we're going to talk about this, what I call industry icon. And industry icon is basically how you're going to actually turn your advice into a full-blown business and how you're basically going to build and monetize an audience. So that's what we're going to focus on in this presentation. And we're going to go over a few things. So we're going to actually go over building a list of hungry buyers. How do you turn that into a movement? Then I'm going to show you how to dramatically increase the sales of your programs. So if you are selling programs, I'm going to show you how to do that. And then what essentially needs to happen for you to hit a 7-figure business. So then I'm going to do that for you as well. And then at the very end, we're going to talk about the industry icon program / event that I've got going on, which is $4.99. And then we're going to do a Q&A at the end. So let's see, Lashandra. All right. So a few of you, okay. So a few of you can hear, some of you, all right. Once you reconnect, you'll be able to hear. All right, perfect. So we're going to get going. So basically, I mean, how do people make money selling their advice? I mean, you guys have heard this all the time, but how do you actually do it? I mean, it's one thing to actually hear about it. It's one thing to know it can be done, but how do you actually make money selling your advice? You have all kinds of information that's going on inside of your head, but what has to happen? So there's a lot of useless information out there. And what happens is information overload, it tends to kill productivity. So you get so much information. There's so much YouTube videos, Facebook videos, but information, it kills productivity because you don't know what to actually do. So I'm going to show you what to actually do. And I do want to point this out. Nobody will give you a complete business model unless you actually buy from them. So what needs to happen is you need to collapse free content into a complete business model. So you don't just buy information, you want to buy implementation. And it's similar to, let's say you want to buy any type of franchise, a McDonald's franchise, any franchise. Nobody's just going to give you their business model unless you buy it. And I do want to point that out. No matter how much free information you see online, you will not see what people are actually doing to make the money until you buy. I can just guarantee it. And what we're going to go over, we'll go over essentially what you need to have in place to build and monetize your audience in any industry. It doesn't matter what industry you're in, doesn't matter where you live. I'm going to show you how to do it in any industry. And my goal is to help two different types of people. So the people who are unsure of what steps to take, and then the people who already have built an audience, but you're just not selling as much as expected. Like you're just not selling your programs or anything. So if you're down for that, type in yes. Let me just make sure you guys are still there. Make sure you guys can actually still hear me. Because let's see, Franklin said no sound. So if someone can type into Franklin, hey, refresh your page. But if the rest of you guys can hear me typing yes, we're still good. Tell Michael as well to refresh and everything. All right. So John, Greg, Sam, Clay, Che, Bianca, Kelly. All right. So all you guys, cool. Yeah. Someone type in to the other guys that, hey, refresh your thing. And then you'll be able to hear this sexy guy named Benji Bruce on the other line who sounds so good looking. It's unbelievable. So tell them to refresh their webinar if they want to hear me. So here's the thing. If you're new, then you're going to get a process for building and monetizing an audience to make this a full-time thing. Okay. So if you already have an audience, then you're going to see how to actually increase your sales. So I'm going to show you guys two different things. So Linton said, say my name, sexy, good looking. That's funny. All right. So the sound is now working. Reconnect. All right. Yep. Perfect. So here's the thing. I'm going to show you. This is actually when my mom found out how much money I made every month. And what happened here, and this was actually pretty recent, right? So what happened here was all the time I was talking to my mom, and every time we would talk on the phone, she would always say something like, "Oh, do you need money for food?" And like, "Oh, do you need any money? Should I send you $100 or something like that?" Because I don't tell my family how much money I make or anything. So my mom, she was always worried about me, and I personally don't have a car right now, so I got rid of my car. I use Uber all the time. So my mom is thinking I'm dead broke. She's like, "Do you need some money?" and all that stuff. And eventually, she said it so many times. She said it so often. I just got pissed off. I was like, "Mom, I'm good. I made 93,000 this month." And then there was like a pause. She's like, "What?" She said, "You mean 9,300?" I was like, No. 93,000 as in 100 grand this month." And she was like, "What?" And at that point, that's when my mom found out because I just got pissed off. I was like, "Mom, I don't need money. I'm good to go." Right. And so I do want to tell you that it is possible to make money from your advice. You just have to collapse information into implementation. That's all you have to do. There's so much information out there, but you have to collapse it into implementation, into the actual steps. This was the very first time that I started doing it. Most of you actually know that I'm an illusionist, right? So I would do all these mind reading shows, but I started out as a restaurant magician. So as you can see with that good looking guy there, and you see the good looking guy with the fire and the good looking guy with the string and the ring, that's me. That's that really good looking guy, right? And so I was doing all this restaurant magic. I would go table to table, perform at restaurants, and I got so good at the thing, I was making a ton of money, like a ton of money in tips and everything. But what happened is I decided, you know what? I can sell this. There are tons of other, Donna said, "So handsome." Thank you, Donna. Uh, there were tons of other entertainers, other magicians who wanted to learn how to do this. So I actually took the information inside of my brain in terms of how to do restaurant magic and how to actually make money doing it. And I turned it into a book. And you can actually get this on Amazon right now. I suggest you guys don't, because if you're not a magician, it wouldn't make any sense. But I actually took all the information inside of my head and I turned it into a book and I started selling the book. And it sold pretty decently, actually. But what happened is, a lot of people think that you can only make money online by teaching people how to make money online. And that's what I thought as well. I thought you can only make money online teaching people how to make money online. And because I just didn't see anyone else making money online until I started doing it. I started making money just by selling restaurant magic advice. And so it showed me that it's possible to make money online selling your advice. You just basically you have something to offer the world and you just need to know how to package it, position, and promote it. It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter if you're a speaker. It doesn't matter if you're a fitness trainer. It doesn't matter what you do. You just have to know how to package, position, and promote it. That's all you have to know how to do. So here's the thing. This is what you have to really put inside of your brain. I'm not looking for originality. I'm looking for practicality. That's what you have to put inside of your brain. Originality is a bonus. It's not a requirement for making money. A lot of people, when they hear things, they say like, "Oh, I already know that. Oh, Facebook ads, YouTube ads, oh, sales funnel, blah, blah, blah. I already know that." Who cares what you know? It's all about practicality. I'm not trying to look for a new idea. I'm not trying to look for something that's never been done before. I can care less as long as if I can make $1 million a month, hey, great. I don't care if it's original. I don't care if it's been done like 100 years ago. I can care less. It's not about originality. It's about practicality. So it's crucial that you think along these lines and you stop thinking in terms of, "I already know that." So when someone tells me I already know about Facebook ads, I ask them, "Well, are you spending $1,000 a month or $1,000 a day on Facebook ads?" So it's not about what you know, it's about what you're actually doing. Okay, so let's see some of the comments here. Linton said, "You really are the bomb, the greatest of all times. You so handsome." All right, thank you, Linton. So let's see. All right, so I'm going to keep going here. So basically, this is what we're going to go over. I already mentioned this. We're going to go over building a list of hungry buyers, how to increase your sales, how to hit 7 figures. Then I'm going to talk about the industry icon event, which is $4.99, and then we're going to do a Q&A. So how do you actually build a following of hungry buyers and turn it into a freaking movement? Like, how do you get the buyers, right? And how do you turn it into a movement? So I personally thought it was content. Like, you hear this all the time. Everyone's like, content, especially nowadays. Everyone talks about content. And so I started creating content, and I was creating content around the magic industry and everything. So I had the green screen, like the picture you can see on the left there. There's the green screen. And man, I do not recommend you using a green screen, but That's a whole new story. But basically, I thought it was content. So I started producing content. I upgraded. I got like this ring light that you see right here on the right side. There's a little ring light, and then I got a little stand for my phone. I was using a phone, and so I upgraded a little bit. I was like, oh, I got a nice little ring light and everything. So I'm creating a ton of content. Like, so much content is ridiculous, right? And then I stepped up my game because I was like, you know what? Let me create even better content. So I got like a background. I upgraded to a really good camera and everything. I stepped up my game. I was like, that's right, Benji. It's all about content, content, content. Everyone talks about content. And so I actually focused on building a following as well. A lot of people talk about building a following. So I would do YouTube subscribers. I focus on them, focus on Facebook fans, Twitter following, Instagram following. In fact, I even paid, like, you know how some people pay for the Twitter following and all that. I actually paid for some of the followings because I was thinking, you know what? You got to make sure that you have a ton of following. So I started a ton of followers. So I actually started paying for some on Twitter, but I focused on the followers. But my sales, it looked like this. It looked like absolutely nothing, like literally nothing. I was actually pretty pissed off. So it was literally nothing. I created all this. I'm creating videos nonstop. I mean, I went from here thinking I'm the bomb diggity and here to where I upgraded everything, but my sales look like this. There was really nothing coming in because everyone keeps talking about content. I was producing content, nothing came in, and I met these guys, right? So these guys, at the time, they were doing like around 300 grand a month or something like that. Now they're doing over $1 million a month. I went to their houses, their mansion. Well, it was their mansion. They got an even bigger one now. But at the time, I went to this mansion and I looked them up online. And when I looked them up online, honestly, if I didn't actually see it for myself, I never would have like really thought they were making so much money. But I met him, his partner, and then the people that worked with them. And I looked them up online. I saw that their videos, they had about 3-4 videos on YouTube, and each one had about 90 views, like 90, 95, 130 or something like that. I'm thinking to myself, how the hell are these guys hitting 300 grand a month? And now they're doing like 7 figures a month. But at the time I was wondering, like, what the heck are they doing? And so it's not about building a following. It's about building a business. And this is the crucial state of mind that you have to operate in. I can't stress this enough. I say this over and over and over to tons of people. I can't stress it enough, to where I even created a picture on this. I said, if your number of social media followers is bigger than your bank account, then you're building your business wrong. I'll repeat that again because it's so brilliant. I'm like, man, I say brilliant stuff. And so I'm going to repeat that again. It's like, if your number of social media followers is bigger than your bank account, then you're building your business wrong. And you really want to drill that into your head. And so you have to sit down and think, which activities produce the revenue? This is why, like right now, this is the high rise that I'm in. You see that money sign right there? That's like a money art right there. And so I got that not because it looks cool in a video, but also because it reminds me, focus on the revenue, focus on where the money comes in, focus on the profits. That's where you have to focus on. Content, it adds to the process. It does not replace it. So many people, they're doing Facebook Live, they're doing YouTube, they're doing all sorts of stuff, and they're trying to use content as a sales process, but it is not a sales process. It just adds to it. It's like the cherry on top. It is not the full meal. So it does not replace your sales process. So how do you actually build a following the right way? So everyone talks about content, but how do you build it the right way? You have to focus on buyers. It's all about the buyers. So you want to ask yourself, who's actually frustrated? And what I mean by this is the most frustrated people are the ones who are almost there. So basically, people who have no skin in the game, they have no problems because they haven't done anything yet. Is the difference between, if let's say I'm a poker guru, right? I want to create a process or a program on poker. Now, I can create 2 different types of programs. I can create, here's how you become a poker player, or here's why you're losing all the time. Now, I'd probably like rethink it and probably get a better one, but there's 2 different ones. Here's how you become a poker player versus here's why you're losing all the time. Now, which one do you guys think would sell more? So let me type that in. Type in 1 for become a poker player or 2 for why you're losing all the time. Which one do you think would actually sell more? So let me see. I'll wait for a second because I know there's like a, I don't know, 15, 20 second delay or something, but which one do you think would actually sell more? If I was a poker guru, which one would actually sell more? Is it one or two? All right, losing two, two, two. All right, become a player, two, two, two. All right, most people are typing in two. All right, cool. Yeah, you guys are right. And the reason you're right is because the people who are frustrated are the ones who are losing. The ones who are becoming a poker player, they don't have any skin in the game. They haven't even started. So they're sitting there. They're the ones who will sit down and say, you know what, I really do want to become a poker player, but I just got to make sure I get this done first. I got to make sure that I write my book first. I got to make sure the kids are good to go first. I got to make sure this is done first. And so those are the people who want to become a poker player. So they're not going to buy your program because they're not frustrated. They're comfortable. They're at their job or whatever. They're comfortable. So the ones that's going to sell the most are the ones where people are playing. Maybe they started learning. They went on YouTube and learned a few things. They tried a few things. They went to the casino, but they're losing. They're not making any money. So those are the people who are going to go online. They're going to say, dude, what the heck? How do I freaking make some money? Why am I not winning? What the heck? So you want to look for the people who are the most frustrated. And those are the ones who are like almost there. So you focus on people with immediate problems. It's similar to a video I made a while ago where I talked about you have a fitness product to sell and who buys those products. So think about it. Imagine you're a fitness guru and you're selling your advice as a fitness guru. Who actually sells or who actually buys your fitness programs or your fitness products? Now you would think, well, the people who are going to buy are the people who are overweight. I'm going to show them how to lose weight and everything. Those aren't the people who buy fitness programs. Those aren't the people who buy fitness products. The people who buy fitness products are the people who are already competing at Mr. Olympia and people like Arnold Schwarzenegger. These are the people who are already fit. These are the people who are buying the protein shakes and buying the fish oil and buying the extra training. And if you go into like a nutrition store, like one of those GNC stores, and you go in there and ask like, hey, who do you actually see here more? Do you see the people who are like overweight or do you see like bodybuilders in here? They won't even hesitate. They'll say, oh, it's bodybuilders, of course. They'll probably look at you like you're dumb. Like, what are you talking about? Of course it's bodybuilders who are in here. And it's because the bodybuilders and the people with the immediate problems are the ones who buy. See, Samantha knows it. Samantha said, that's why I know, or that's what I know as a dietitian. See, yeah. So, I mean, you really want to focus on those types of people. So are you selling a vitamin or are you selling a painkiller? That's what you really have to think about. And I can't remember where I heard this from. I remember I took it from somebody. I was like, I'm going to use it as mine. It's pretty brilliant. Basically, you want to think, is it a vitamin or is it a painkiller? So a vitamin is basically prevention. It's when you're selling prevention. A painkiller is when you sell a solution to an immediate problem. So vitamins don't really sell all that much. Painkillers are the top sellers. So you want to think, I'm going to sell a painkiller, not a vitamin. So what happens is you build a list by focusing on buyers and you build a movement by selling people on you. I want to stress that you build a list by focusing on buyers, but you build a movement by selling people on you specifically. So let me show you. I don't know if you guys can see exactly what they say, but I'm just going to say what they say. So these are just some of the emails that I get. I get a ton of these types of emails all the time. And basically you'll notice here. So this person said, like, thanks, Benji, I'm committed. It's funny. I never imagined looking forward to weekly, let alone daily emails from a business trying to sell me a product. But I look forward to these daily emails from you because they keep me motivated and also focused. Now think about that. I mean, how many of you want someone to write you an email like that, where they're like, hey, I mean, I've never looked forward to someone selling me daily, but I love getting emails from you. So that's why you want to sell people on you. And then, for example, like the middle one here, the middle one where, so Samantha said, I love your emails. Thanks, Samantha. You're so awesome. Cool. Thanks. All right. So the second one here in the middle, you notice that this person said, thank you for sending. I laughed right away at your opening Tony Robbins line, right? So the opening, I'm sure some of you, well, I'm sure like all of you guys have pretty much read that, where the first email that you get from me, it says something like, hey, do you know who Tony Robbins is? Okay, great. He has nothing to do with this email. And then I just go into the rest of the email, right? And so that's essentially what you're doing. The other one here, the guy, Paul, he said like, look, I can honestly say I don't know anyone anywhere dead or alive who has better draw to exhale breath ratio than Benji Bruce, right? And so what you're doing is you get buyers to buy a program or an offer, but you build a movement by selling people on you. And so people are getting more and more skeptical of gurus. Like as more and more information is getting out there, people are getting more and more skeptical. So if you're building your audience, you have to understand that people are insanely skeptical of who you are. They don't know who you are. They don't know anything about your past, absolutely nothing. So they're skeptical as all hell. And let me show you this, right? So this is actually one of the Facebook ads that we run. And what happens is people, they've been screwed in the past, but I do want to point out there are people who are legit. And this is what happens. Like you see here in the top left over here, this person, he wrote on the Facebook ad, he's like, this is a joke. And I was thinking like, what? Joke? Don't call me a joke, son. And so what I wrote here is I said, did you even watch a single video before deciding this is a joke? We put out more free content on speaking than anyone you'll come across, and we get speakers booked. Or do you think everything and everyone is a scam? Do your research first, or do your research before calling someone else a joke, or you just look like a silly goose? And so that's essentially what I did. And then after that, I responded with all these screenshots of people who actually got booked, people who booked like $10,000 gigs and did all types of sales inside of the programs. And then here, even Leslie, she actually responded here. She said, look, this, whoops, I zoomed in and everything there. Let me see if I can zoom out. Oops. All right. So, well, at least you can read that. So she said, but basically notice what she said. She said, like, this is no joke, right? She said, I'm a speaker who's benefited from his info. And so that's kind of what you're, that's basically, you have to understand that people always think that you're not as legit as you think you are. And so if you create a product, then you're going to struggle. But if you become what I call an industry icon, then people will buy from you because they'll look forward to your emails. They'll look forward to just doing business with you. So you build a movement, not by selling a product, you build it by selling you. So you have something to offer that others can't duplicate. It's your style, your personality, your story, whatever it is. It's something that people can't duplicate. And that's why I keep making these jokes in terms of like, oh yeah, I'm so amazing, and oh, my voice sounds so sexy. And that's why I keep making these jokes, because it's one of the things that other people, they can't duplicate. I mean, look at that. They can't duplicate the purple. They can't duplicate this awesomeness. So it's one of the reasons, well, it's one of the things that you want to do. You want to think, what can people not duplicate? So Linton said, what do you think of Brendon Burchard? Well, I don't think of him at all. So I don't think of anyone other than what I'm doing. And that sounds kind of messed up, but I don't think of anyone other than what I'm doing. Like even when I mentioned Tony Robbins, you'll notice the only reason why I mention him is because A, he has a great reputation, but B, it's because I'm mentioning him to sell me. That's the only purpose of why I mention him. Like even in the first email where I say, hey, do you know who Tony Robbins is? Okay, great. He has nothing to do with this email. I say that because it shows you my personality. It shows you, hey, these are going to be some funny type of emails that's going to come up from time to time. So I don't think of anyone. I don't think of Brendon Burchard. I don't think of any of these guys. So let me go on. So what you're doing is you're essentially selling you. You're building your brand, and I'm selling me. I'm selling my style, my personality. It's like, once again, here on these two things here. What does it say? It says, I just have to take a minute and say, I love your down-to-earth, simple, clear advice. I get a ton of emails. I'm clearly on this person loves to spend money on more coaches list. And so many try to sound impressive. You just say what you mean, and I appreciate that. And she said exactly what I do. Like I'm thinking, I don't care if I hurt your feelings. I don't really care. I just say exactly what you need to hear. I just say exactly the truth because too many gurus out there aren't telling you the truth. So she wrote that. I was like, yep, exactly. And then Maria said the same thing. Like, hey, this is the whole reason why I needed to read this email. And then she said like, thanks for the information and for the laugh. Right. So you're selling people on you. You build a following by starting with a hungry market of buyers, and you turn it into a movement by getting them sold on you. Now I want to talk about, you have a following, but how do you actually get them to buy? Like, how do you drastically and dramatically increase the sales of your program? So I don't know if you guys have any programs. If you have programs, type in yes. If you don't, type in no. I just want to see how many of you guys actually have a program and how many of you don't have a program. So if you have a program, type in yes. If you don't, type in no. I just want to see. So let's see. All right. So Linton said yes. No. Samantha, yes. Weight loss program. Okay. Yes. All right. No. Jeff said no. Okay. So All right. So quite a bit of you guys already have a program. Okay. So you're developing one. Terrence said no. Okay. Oh man, it's coming in fast. All right. Working on one. Decron. I hope I said that right. All right. So a pretty good amount of you have a program. A few of you don't. That's okay. So, all right. So I'm going to show you guys how to actually dramatically increase the sales of your programs right now. So here's essentially what happened with me. I built a sales process, but it didn't generate a lot of sales, as I mentioned before. And I thought to myself, like, why? Kelly said what was that? Anti-human trafficking program. Oh, that's interesting. All right. So what happened with me is, I mean, I had a sales process. Everyone talks about sales funnels. They're like, build a sales funnel. Everyone talks about sales funnels, and I had it, but it wasn't selling. I wasn't making any money. So I had the add to a squeeze page to an offer, and it just wasn't selling. And so I had a huge problem. I was honestly like pissed off. I was like, why aren't people actually buying my stuff? And so I followed all the gurus. I built their $1 million sales funnel, and it just didn't work for me. I mean, if you can go on to Google right now and type $1 million sales funnel, and you'll see tons of them out there. And I built almost every single one. I was like, let me try it this way. Let me do it that way. And it didn't work for me. None of them worked. It still wasn't selling my programs. But I want to point out that just because something didn't work doesn't mean it doesn't work. The key is you just didn't get it right. And so this is what most people don't do. So when something doesn't work, they assume it doesn't ever work. Whereas you have to assume that if it didn't work, it's because you didn't get it right. So if Facebook ads isn't working, it's just because you couldn't get it to work. If Google ads isn't working, it's because you couldn't get it to work. If your sales funnel isn't working, it's because you couldn't get it to work. You have to take full responsibility for everything in your business, whether it's your fault or not. Heck, if, like, for example, with the earlier today with the webinar, when the audio wasn't working, I'm thinking, you know what, that's my fault. Earlier today, it was like 9 a.m. I was trying to figure out this audio thing and it wasn't working. And I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is going to suck. Oh my goodness, this is going to suck. But I wasn't going to blame it on them. I was going to pimp slap them, but I still wasn't going to blame it on them completely. I was still thinking, you know what? It's my fault. I should have tested it out yesterday. I should have figured out the answer yesterday, the day before. In fact, it was like a whole week. I could have figured it out. And so you have to think, just because something didn't work doesn't mean it doesn't work. You just didn't get it right. Okay. And so this is the quote I keep mentioning in all these webinars where I say, look, skepticism is a deadly enemy of progress and self-development. This is from Napoleon Hill. And it's a great quote, because what happens is when something goes wrong, people say like, oh, you know what, this is all a scam. And what happens is that skepticism, they get so skeptical that they don't actually progress, and there is no self-development anymore because they no longer learn. And so I didn't blame them. I figured it out until I got it right. So having a sales funnel doesn't mean you're going to generate sales. It just means that you have a sales funnel. That's all it really means. So this is what my 7-figure sales process looks like. It's not technical. It's not advanced. You don't see stuff like all over the place. It is, there's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there's the ad, the landing page, a thank you offer, there's upsell, downsell, and then broadcast emails. That's literally a 7-figure sales process. Literally right there. I'm not telling you anything new, but I want to show you this, right? You have to figure out what part of your sales process isn't working. So I can guarantee that some of you guys have a sales process. For those of you who have your programs, you have a sales process, whether you're doing webinars or whatever, you have a sales process, but it's not working, and you have to figure out what's not working. This is how you're going to dramatically increase your sales. So if your ad is costing too much, let's say it's too much cost per click or cost per conversion, it's just costing too much. If the ad is costing too much, you need to improve your copy. You got to improve the ad copy, and you improve the targeting. One of those are messed up. And so you have to go back and you have to improve it. So the best ad that we have right now is this one, the one that probably got you to sign up, where we talked about the 100 leads. That's the best ad that we have. And so it took a while to figure that out, right? Now, let's say on the other hand, you get the ad right. So the first thing is you get the ad right. Once you get the ad right, and then all of a sudden you realize, oh, nobody's registering. So nobody's actually signing up. So people are now clicking, but nobody's actually signing up. So that part sucks as well. So if nobody's registering, now you need a more enticing offer. So plenty of you have heard of a lead magnet. So I'm sure you know what it is. You offer a lead magnet. Maybe it's a webinar, maybe it's a PDF or an ebook. or something. But let's say if people aren't registering, that just means you need a more enticing offer. It means your lead magnet sucks. And so you just got to get a better one. You got to sit down and think, well, what exactly do the people that I'm talking with, what exactly do they desperately want? What would they pay for? And that's what goes on inside of my head. I think, what would these people pay for? Not only that, but are they paying for it? Like, are they currently paying for this thing, and can I give it away for free? So if they are paying for it and I can give it away for free, great. It's going to get a ton of people to sign up. So if people aren't registering, you just need a more enticing offer. Now, if people aren't buying immediately, so what happens is there's the ad, there's a landing page, and then on the thank you page, there's an offer. So an offer. And if people don't buy immediately, then you got to think, okay, well, I got to improve the sales page offer. So it's like, all right, people aren't buying that. Well, I got to improve the sales page offer. If people aren't buying at all, so let's say they've been on your list for, I don't know, 6 months or whatever, and you're just not generating any sales whatsoever, that just means that you got to improve your emails. You got to improve the offers within those emails. So each one of these have a specific problem that you need to sit down and solve before you move on to the next thing. Because if your ad at the very beginning isn't working, then everything else is kind of screwed at that point. And so you got to think, where is the problem, and then solve that problem first. Okay. You're going to build your 7-figure sales funnel just like this. It's a really simple sales funnel. It's not hard. It's simple. If your programs aren't selling, then what happened is you haven't gone through enough iterations to get it to sell. So that's essentially what's going on. If you have a program and it's just not selling, you just haven't done enough iterations. You haven't tested enough to actually get it to sell. So what they don't tell you, all these gurus don't tell you, is that everyone goes through iterations before finding their $1 million sales funnel. So there are like a million ways to make $1 million. You just need one. You need to keep tweaking things until you get that one right. And you're like, yes, finally. This was not my first iteration. You see that ad there? That was not the first ad that I created. That lead magnet there, or the opt-in page, that was not the first one. And especially this thank you page offer. I went through, there was like a $7 ebook, then there was a $29 ebook, then I went to a $39 ebook, then I went back to $29, then I went to the $49 one, and I changed up all the sales pages on all those. I kept changing the copy. I said, should I offer a money back guarantee? Should I not offer a money back guarantee? Should I use PayPal? Should I not use PayPal? It was all sorts of things. It was tons of iterations. And what happens is, this is what gurus aren't telling you. So you see this right now. Like, I could easily just show you this, but look, I built $1 million sales funnel. I could easily do that. And then you would think, wow, that's all I got to do. Just build those things and that's it. But what other people aren't telling you is that it took them a year to actually get that thing right. And then that's essentially what they're not telling you. So this wasn't my first iteration. It's all a process, and you want to speed up the process by getting help along the way. That's basically how you speed up the process. Because here, like, I see a lot of people do this wrong, where the lead magnet there, they just get the lead magnet wrong and they don't realize it's wrong. So they say, oh, let me offer an ebook. I say, no, that's wrong. Trust me, I've done it a million times. It's wrong. And what happens is they do that, they get it wrong, but because there's no one there to tell them it's wrong, they do it, they spend their money, they waste their money, they waste their time, and it takes them a really long time to actually get results. So you got to understand that it's all a process, but you do want to figure out how to speed up the process. Now, so far, you've learned how to build a following by focusing on hungry buyers and how to fix a sales process that isn't selling. Now I want to tell you what needs to happen to scale to 7 figures. This is where you get the boss status. This is like, yeah, I'm a boss, son. 7 figures, what? So I'm going to show you how to scale to 7 figures. And it's really simple. This is actually when my brother realized how much I made. So my mom knew how much I made because I remember I just got pissed off. I was like, Mom, I made $100,000 this month. But my brother didn't know until I actually moved into this high rise, because my high rise, my brother obviously knows, like, when you rent a place, you have to have a certain level of income for them to say yes. Like, if you make $500 a month and then the high rise is $5,000 a month, they're going to say no to you. So my brother asked my mom, he's like, Mom, how much does Benji make? Because he knew I was moving in. And she didn't tell him, because I told her not to tell my brother and sister. I was like, look, don't tell him. And so she was like, well, I don't really know. And then eventually when my brother got here, I told him, I was like, yeah, I made this. And I was like, see, told you should have read some books. And so this is when my brother actually realized how much I made, and that actually is when he started reading a ton of books too. But here's the thing: you got to understand that two big things need to happen for you to scale to seven figures. And I really wish someone would have like really drilled this into my head when I was trying to build, because it took me forever. So two big things need to happen. Jay said, is anyone from Atlanta here? Jay, get focused, man. Come on. You're trying to build to seven figures. You need to get focused. Who cares about if anyone's from Atlanta? Who cares if freaking Brandon Burchard and Tony Robbins are right next to you? Who cares? Focus on your own business. In fact, I got a funny story that maybe I'll make a video on that. Let's see. Samantha said, how long is forever? In terms of how long is forever, in terms of just building your business, that really depends on you, actually. In terms of me, I can tell you this. I've never had a job. So this is what I've done my entire life. I started building out my entertainment business from the very get-go. Literally when I was 13, I was making money. And then from there, I started getting hired as an entertainer. And then from there, I started teaching other entertainers, and I just learned marketing and all that stuff, and on and on and on. But I want to talk about the two big things that need to happen for you to scale to seven figures. And like I said, I really, really wish someone would have drilled these into my head. Let me read this one question real quick. Linton said, are you intuitive when you work in your business? How much is inspiration? How much is, okay. So when it comes to like motivation and inspiration, I think what happens is, so many people look for outside motivation and outside inspiration. And what happened with me is, I think it was just because there was nothing else that I could do. I didn't have a job. So it was more like I had to do it. And it was just more like I had to do it. There was nothing else that I wanted to do with my life. So I figured it out no matter how hard it got. And I'm telling you, man, it sucked. Like every step of the way. People keep saying like, oh, it's so easy and all that. I keep telling people this will be the absolute hardest thing you will ever do in your life. Absolutely the hardest thing. If you're building a business, you have to understand that 99.999% of what you're going to do is going to fail. And what has to happen is you have to keep going despite it failing. This is why that quote from Steve Jobs, where he said, what did he say? He was like, oh, they say you have to have a lot of passion for what you do, because if you don't, any rational person would give up. And that's what happens is everyone's rational. Everyone's out there extremely rational. And when you fail so often, it is rational. It is normal to give up. I mean, everything's not working. You're like, dang it, this is stupid. I'm done. It's rational to give up. It is irrational. It is insane for you to keep going despite things not working. And so you have to be insane. You have to be delusional. You have to just keep going no matter what happens. And I'm not talking about from a motivational standpoint. I'm just talking about you're just determined. I was reading this book and it said Darwinism is pure determination. And it's true. It's pure determination. You're just so determined. You're like, I'm going to figure this thing out. I don't care what happens. So I want to get on to this. By the way, my brother's older. So two big things that have to happen to scale to seven figures. This is the biggest thing right here is you have to spend money. You got to spend money on advertising. And what's going to happen is you have to remove the fear of spending money. This is what held me back for so freaking long, is I was afraid to spend money. And I'm telling you right now, most of you will be afraid to spend money on advertising because you're going to say, well, what if I lose it? What if it doesn't work and I put in $200 and then all of a sudden I lose all my money? I don't really have a ton of money to spend on ads, so it's got to work. And I'm here to tell you that no matter what level you get to, whether you're 7 figures a month, I don't care if you spend $1 million a day, you will always lose money on advertising. It doesn't matter how good you get. I know people who are so good at Facebook ads, it's ridiculous. They always lose money. It doesn't matter. And so what has to happen is you have to get into the mode of you're going to spend money on advertising, and you have to remove the fear of spending money. So you're going to be afraid to spend money because you'll be afraid to lose. And you have to truly understand that losing money is inevitable, 100% inevitable. Never stop advertising. It will kill your momentum. And it took me months to start again. I remember I don't know why I stopped advertising. I was spending money on ads, on Facebook ads. It was working. And then one day I decided to stop spending money. I decided to stop it. I was like, oh, let me improve a couple things. And I stopped. And then I killed my momentum. And it took me months. Like every time I go back, I was like, all right, today I'm going to start another Facebook ad again. But then that fear of spending money and losing it would pop into my head. So I wouldn't actually buy like another Facebook ad. And I kid you not, it was working. I stopped it for a little bit, like a day, and then I didn't start it again for like 2-3 months later. It killed my momentum, and it will happen if you stop advertising. So what has to happen if you do need to change things, let's say you're spending like $100 a day, or let's say like $50 a day. You need to change something, drop it down to $5 a day. So whatever it is, just drop it down. Do not stop it, because what's going to happen is inside of your brain, you're going to realize like, oh, I got to hurry up. I got to hurry up and get this going and build it back up, because there are some people coming in, even though I'm only spending $5 a day, there's still some people coming in. So you don't want to kill your momentum. I can't stress this enough. And what has to happen is you reinvest back into your business. You throw all that money back into your business. There are two things you spend money on: knowledge and sales. Knowledge and sales. Knowledge and sales. Two things you reinvest your money back into is knowledge and sales. It's why, like, if you were to actually see my place, how I moved into this high rise, I mean, when I first moved in, I had an air mattress. I didn't even have a freaking mattress. I was like, I don't need this thing. And there's no purpose in having a mattress. So I was like, I don't need a mattress, until my leg got all jacked up. And then I bought a real mattress. But if you actually look inside of my high rise, you'll notice that there are only a couple things inside of the high rise. There are things that make me money and nothing else, and a bed. Like that's literally it. And so you want to reinvest back into your business and never be ashamed of selling. You have something to offer the world, and you're doing a disservice by not getting it out there. That has to be the mindset that you're in. That is the mindset that I'm in. I truly feel sorry for people who do not buy my programs. Like, I kid you not. When someone says, oh, I want to speak for a living, I want to build an audience, I want to market myself, I'm a fitness trainer, help me market myself, I want to get on stages or whatever, I say, go buy this program, buy Speak Pro Academy, buy Industry Icon, buy Event Finder, whatever program I suggest. And they say, oh, it's too much, or, oh, I can't do it, or whatever. I truly, utterly feel sorry for them, because I know that if they just clicked, like if they just had a couple clicks and bought the program, they would literally get the answer they're seeking. And so you never want to be ashamed of selling. Imagine you had the cure to cancer. Like, you literally had the cure. And someone said, no, I'm not going to buy the thing. Like, someone had cancer and they were just like, no, I don't want to buy it. Oh, I'm too skeptical. Everyone talks about the cancer pills and I'm skeptical. I don't know. You would legitimately feel sorry for that person. And I legitimately feel sorry for people who do not buy. You should never be ashamed of selling, especially when you have something to offer the world that's a million times better than anything else out there. What's going to happen is fear will hold you back from building your business, whether it's fear of spending money, whether it's fear of learning new technology, whether it's fear of getting ripped off, whether it's fear of not promoting enough, whatever it is, that fear will hold you back. I was afraid of spending money. I was never really afraid of technology, but I know a lot of older people are afraid of learning new technology. I was definitely afraid of getting ripped off. That's for sure. I was definitely afraid of promoting, because what happens is when you start promoting, you'll start to get emails from people who say, oh, why are you selling so much? Unsubscribe, you a-hole. You email every day, you know? So they'll actually get mad at you. And so what happens is you start to get that fear goes inside of your brain. And so that fear is going to hold you back. And what you have to realize with situations like that is one person gets mad, but then 1,000 other people, they don't mind it. And so you have to understand that fear will hold you back from building your business, and you overcome that fear by stepping into it. So the only way you're essentially going to actually spend more money on ads or get over your fear of spending money on ads is to actually spend money on ads. The only way you're going to overcome the fear of technology is to actually learn technology. And so if you're not promoting enough, you got to promote more. So the only way you overcome fear is by stepping into it. Now, the second thing that has to happen to build to 7 figures is you need to happen. This is what really needs to happen. Out of everything that I've talked about so far, you need to happen. I remember recording this video. It was a video a while ago where I talked about going from nothing to 100K a month, right? To 6 figures a month. And I mentioned this inside of the video. I said, look, just because a thought came from you doesn't make it true. And this is what has to go on inside of your head. You have to truly understand this. Just because a thought comes from you does not make it true. These are certain thoughts that come from you all the time. Thoughts like, this is a scam. Are they legit? Or I'm not really an expert. Or, oh, I already know that. Or are there any money back guarantees? Can I try it first? Or emailing is dead. Cold calling is dead, or whatever's dead. Oh, I'm not too technical, or I don't have the time. I don't have the money. I've got to write my book first. I got to do this first. I got to put the kids in school first. I got to do this first before I get started. Or, I just need to create some content. Or let's see, don't know if I'm afraid or overwhelmed, right? Things like, oh, this won't work in my industry, won't work in my country. I can't email every day. They'll unsubscribe. I need to get an LLC first. I'm not good on video or writing or whatever. All these thoughts are inside of your brain, and these are the thoughts that are holding you back. Things like, okay, this is a scam. Are they legit? What kind of thought is that? If you think everything's a scam and is it legit, then you're never going to buy anything. You'll never improve. If you think that you're not really an expert, who cares? Maybe you're not an expert. Why don't you interview other experts? If you already know that, then why aren't you doing that? If you ask, are there any guarantees? Can I try it first? Well, why would you go into something with 1 foot in, 1 foot out? Doing that is already setting you up for failure. If you think emailing is dead, cold calling is dead, if you think anything is dead, how is it that other people are succeeding? If you're not technical, well, guess what? Nobody was born technical. Nobody freaking came out of the womb knowing how to do Facebook, knowing how to build a website, knowing how to do computer programming. Nobody's technical. They learned it. If you don't have time, you figure out how to make time. If you don't have money, you figure out how to make money. If you have to do X, Y, Z first, you got to write a book first before you get started. You'll never get started because you're always going to wait. If you just want to create content, you'll never have a sales process. If you say this won't work in your industry or country, it won't, because you won't get it to work. You won't figure out how to make it work. If you can't email every day because you think they're going to unsubscribe, then you won't make any money any day. If you think you need to get an LLC first before you get started, once again, a huge excuse. If you're not good on video, writing, or whatever, you can get better. All of these thoughts come from you. They are holding you back from actually making money. So that's what I mean when I say you need to happen. You have to get rid of all that stuff. That's what I mean when I say just because a thought came from you, it does not make it true. All these thoughts are in your head and more, a million times more. It does not make it true. The purpose of all thought is to produce action, and any thought that gets in the way needs to be removed. It doesn't matter if the thought is true. It doesn't matter if it's not true. If it gets in the way, it needs to be removed. You have to keep asking yourself, what does this thought do to me? What does this thing do to me? When I say I'm not technical, what does that do to you? It basically makes you pause. It makes you not actually try to learn anything. So it doesn't matter if a thought is true or not. It's about what does it do? What action does it produce inside of you? That's what you have to focus on. So you need to happen. So what has to happen for you to build a business, selling your advice, for you to do anything is you. You have to happen. It's getting harder and harder to stand out nowadays because everyone and their mama thinks everything's a scam. You just go online, just look at some Facebook ads and look at the comments. You'll see everyone thinks everything's a scam. It's getting harder and harder to stand out, and you have to step up or get out. You are the thing that is getting in the way of what you want. You have to realize this. I cannot stress this enough. You have something to offer the world, so you got to get out your own way. You got to realize that those thoughts inside of your brain are not true, and it doesn't matter if they are true. You have to figure out, what can you do? What specific action does that thought help you do, or does that specific thought hold you back? So you have to truly understand this. Now, remember, you got to collapse information into implementation. So I'm going to get into Q&A in just a second, but we've gone over a lot, and a lot of people, they're going to forget most of it. So what has to happen is you need the tools, right? So this is what I call the industry icon. Industry icon is something that I created earlier, and it's basically how you're going to build and monetize a following. Okay. So if you want industry icon, let me actually just load this up for you so you can click on it as well. Industry icon is basically how you're going to build and monetize your following. And we're going to do this in 30 days. So it's not just you sit down and you watch a few videos, because I thought about this. I said, you know what, I can just create videos and people are going to be good to go, but I want implementation. So here's what we're going to do. This is a 4-week online workshop where we're going to build out the sales processes in your business to grow and monetize your audience. And this is essentially how you're going to make money off of what you know. So it's going to be 4 weeks, And week 1, we're going to build your program. So if you don't have a program, we're going to build it. So you're essentially going to package what you know so people can actually buy from you. Week 2, we're going to build your sales process for that program so we can actually start selling your program immediately. Week 3, that's when we're going to put the content machine in place so you can start cranking out content really fast and cranking out content in a way that generates sales, not just content for content's sake. And then we're going to optimize the process in week 4, because remember, whatever you do the first time, it's not going to work. So we're going to optimize it in week 4. That way you're going to have predictable sales coming in, because a lot of people, they have programs, but their sales is not predictable. So the 4 weeks is going to be March 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a webinar for each one of those weeks. Only the people who buy the program are going to have access to the webinars. You will also have access to all the videos that are going to be uploaded. Well, right now there are several videos uploaded already. So when you do invest, you'll see all the videos that are already there. But on March 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st, that's when we're going to do the webinars. That's when we're going to go over all the implementation you need to get done. And I want you to understand that you got to be prepared to hustle for 30 days straight. And it's not going to be any games, no procrastination, just 30 days straight. I do not mean that you're going to hustle 4 times. I don't mean, it's only these dates, that the March 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. It's not 4 times. I mean 30 days straight. I mean, you're going to be doing nothing else. When someone calls you up, you're going to say, hey, I'm working. When someone wants to hang out with you, hey, I'm working. And so I want you to understand that you got to be prepared to hustle for 30 days straight. So we're going to have a webinar for 4 weeks. We're going to go over your daily activities, everything you need to do each one of those days. And when you're done, what you're essentially going to have is you're going to have the back end of your program built out. You're going to have a process for building up your email list. You're going to have a sales process for selling that program. And then you're going to have a process for producing content that generates sales. So ultimately, you'll build a business around your knowledge. That's pretty much what we're going to do here. It's a business around your knowledge, a business around your advice. I'm going to show you how to build one of these expert businesses. And you got to understand that you do have something to offer this world, and it's time to get you out there. It's time to get you out there, your message. Jay said, I need help. If you're from Atlanta, let me know. All right, Jay, let me tell you, man, it doesn't matter where you're from. It just comes down to understanding what you need to get done. So if you go into Industry Icon, that's what we're going to talk about, everything that you need to get done. I will help you out. I mean, if there's anyone who will ever help you out more than me, point them to me. I guarantee there will not be a single person who will help you out more than me, especially for $4.99. So this is for you if you have a story to tell and a message that you want to get out there. This is for you if you want to build and monetize an audience. This is for you if you want to sell a program, if you want to be the go-to person in your industry, if you want to build the online portion of your business. And honestly, this is for anyone under 7 figures. I'm going to show you everything that you need to do. You need someone out there who will put a sense of urgency inside of you. You need that sense of urgency. You got to go faster. Most people are moving too slow and they don't realize it. You got to go faster. You got to do more. You got to keep that speed up, keep that momentum up. You need someone who will light that fire under you and produce that urgency inside of you. That's what we're going to do for these 4 weeks straight. So I want you to understand you got to build your audience right now. You can't wait. You can't say, I'm going to wait till I write my book. I'm going to wait till I do this. You can't say that. You build your audience now, because I guarantee you Facebook's going to be done with advertising. And then eventually it's going to be YouTube. Everything's going to switch to YouTube. Eventually YouTube's going to be done. You got to understand that you have to build your audience right now. You do not wait for anything or anybody, including yourself. So register for Industry Icon. We're going to start essentially with the 30-day implementation process on March 10th. And like I said, we're going to have all this built out, your back-end process for the program, your process for building up your email list, process for selling your program, process for producing content to generate sales. If you want to register, go to speakandlifestyle.com/industry icon, or click the link. Let me include this link here. Click that link there, and then you'll be able to register for everything. So we're going to get into the Q&A. So if you have any questions, then let me know. Just ask the question. Like, let me put this in here. So like I said, if you invest in Industry Icon, I'm going to show you guys how to do everything the right way. I'm going to show you how to make some sales with your advice. So if you have any questions about Industry Icon, about anything, then go ahead and type it in, and I will start doing the Q&A right now. So let's see. Kelly said, I just launched and co-authored a book that hit #1. Perfect. Cool. All right. So anyone have any questions about anything in terms of building up your audience, selling to the audience, anything in terms of selling your advice, positioning yourself, anything like that? All right. Well, all right. Well, man, these coming in fast. All right. So what if you don't have a program yet? We're going to show you how to build that program inside of the industry icon. It doesn't really matter if you don't have a program. Most of you guys don't know this, but like the Speak Pro Academy that started out at $5,000. Well, I mean, it didn't start out $5,000. The Speak Pro Academy started out at $497. I think it was like 500, and now it's $5,000. And inside of that program, there was only like 12 videos. I mean, there was pretty much nothing inside of the program. I kept adding on to it, and now there's so much in there, it's ridiculous. So if you don't have a program, that's what you're going to do. You're going to build your program. I'm going to help you build that program. All right. Will said, I'm busy registering. All right, cool. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see. Terrence said, I have a book expo tomorrow. What's the best way to sell my book? So when it comes to stuff like that, selling anything, you have to do it before you get to that specific moment. So it's like when you see all the people who are selling their books, they've been on podcasts and everything beforehand, before their book comes out, and they built an audience and everything before their book comes out. So that's essentially what you want to focus on. At the expo tomorrow, it's almost like it's kind of too late. When you're at the expo tomorrow, you're going to go into sales mode. So you're going to start building, you're going to start like literally grabbing people over to your booth and everything. You're going to say like, hey man, come over. I got a great book for you. What do you do? And so you're going to start pulling people over and just go pure sales mode at that point. But from now on, just start selling, just start building up that audience. So Clay says, does this process work the same for government clients? Yeah, it doesn't really matter what type of client it is. Everyone's the same in terms of building up an audience. Will you help with Facebook ads? Yep, of course. So we're definitely going to help with all ads. We're going to help with everything inside of Industry Icon. So Industry Icon, first, we're going to do the webinars, and then on the webinars, you'll ask questions about what you need to do. I'll probably even do Facebook Lives. I'll figure out how to do Facebook Lives and like just for the members and everything. And I'll literally help you guys with a ton of different stuff. My goal is basically build your entire sales process in the 30 days, to build your program and sales process in the 30 days. That's going to be my entire goal, as long as you guys are willing to hustle. All right, so let's see. Any successful person who benefited. I literally just started this program today. So the most successful person I've seen is this guy named Benji Bruce, probably the most handsome person I've ever seen in my life. Insanely good looking, always wears purple all the time. And he's on this webinar, and you can hear his voice right now. So let's see. Kelly said, so what do I do to position and sell to, what do I do to position and sell to audience? Well, it depends on what it is you're selling. Yeah, so it really depends on what it is you're selling. But there is a process for selling in terms of being on a stage and selling. It really comes down to you're not really teaching a ton of content. You're essentially just creating like these aha moments as you're speaking. But yeah, it really depends on what it is you're selling. So let's see. Terrence said, I will have a sign-up sheet at my book expo tomorrow. Is that a good idea? Yep. Yeah. Make sure people sign up, get their email list, get everything from them. Get emails, get a phone number if you can. Let's see. Define what constitutes a program. Well, what constitutes a program is your knowledge is going to be it's going to be positioned, and you're going to take your knowledge and put it online. That's essentially what's going to be a program. There are multiple ways to build a program, but we'll talk about that inside Industry Icon. But what essentially you're going to do is you're going to sell your advice. That's basically what it is. Even if it's just coaching and consulting, if you don't actually want a physical program and you just want to sell coaching and consulting, that's still a program. So let's see. Clay said, I have 3 programs in a target market, most of whom are government schools. And all right, yeah, cool. We'll sell to them. Industry Icon is webinars. No, Industry Icon. So for 4 weeks, we're going to do webinars, but right now there are videos inside of it. So when you register right now, you'll see a ton of videos that are already there, just so you can kind of look around. But during the 4 weeks, that's when we're going to start to implement. So the 4 weeks, I'm going to say, do this. Day 1, do this. Day 2, do this. Day 3, do this. And then when you encounter problems, like with the Facebook ads, then I'm going to say, all right, what exactly are you writing in your Facebook ad? Oh, change this, change it like this. So that's essentially what we're going to do. Oh, and by the way, to anyone who's a Speak Pro Academy member, you all have access to this for free. So Gay, I know you're a Speak Pro member, so you have access to this for free. Let's see. Terrence, well, great advice. Thanks, Terrence. Let's see. Let's scroll up. Bianca said, I launched my first business at 16 to help get through school. But now I feel as though I have to create a niche for myself in my particular service. How will I be able to build my audience and distinguish myself from others in the industry? So the way you distinguish yourself is what I mentioned earlier, where you're essentially selling you and your style. It's a lot of people think they have to be original. It's not about originality. In fact, if you study history, you'll notice that people who are original are often chastised because it's too original that no one actually pays attention to them. So it's not about originality. It's about knowing how to deliver information in a way that people pay attention to. So we're essentially going to go over all that. You said, by now I feel as though I've created a niche for myself, particular. So how would I be able to build? Yeah. So, I mean, we're going to talk about what, like, your entire audience and how to actually distinguish yourself from them. But the basics of that is going to be your style. That's going to be how you're going to distinguish from everybody else. And not only your style, but also, I don't want to say ambition, but also just your marketing. So it's kind of like when I was building myself up as an entertainer, right? So there are tons of entertainers out there, magicians, jugglers, mentalists, hypnotists, tons of guys out there. And I thought to myself, how can I distinguish myself? So I started calling myself the charming mentalist, right? But still, I was like, whatever. The way I distinguished myself wasn't by trying to come up with something. It was basically by doing things that people can't duplicate. It was basically by me being better at marketing. So all these guys, they were like, oh, I'm different because I customized my presentation. I'm different because of this. I just said, while you guys are talking about how different you are, I'm out there actually marketing myself and actually getting on stages. So the way you can be different is by your style and then how good you are at marketing in general. So will you offer this again, maybe in May? I don't know, maybe. Let's see. Zelly, I think that's how I say your name. Is this program applicable for keynote speakers? Yeah, it's applicable. I don't know why it's so hard to say. Applicable for everybody. It doesn't really matter what you sell. I don't care if you're a keynote speaker. I don't care if you're a fitness trainer. I don't care if you're a real estate person. It doesn't matter what it is you sell. I'm going to show you how to get the word out about what you do. Right now, I'm a keynote speaker. I'm a motivational speaker. Everyone inside Speak Pro Academy is a keynote speaker and a platform speaker. And we're going to show them how to get the word out about what they do and how to build their audience. So Kelly says, speaking engagements. Yep. So let's see. Lynn said, how do you determine you have a special source? How do you determine you have that special source you mentioned and the price? Maybe type that again, Linton. So how do you determine that special source? I think what you mean is how do you determine like how different you are? I think that's what you're saying. So you essentially figure that out over time, ultimately. So it's kind of like when people are afraid of public speaking, the only way they get better at it is by doing it over and over. So that's the only way you're going to determine it. You don't sit down and say like, oh, I am this. You don't do that. That's not how it works. What you do is you just kind of get somewhat of an idea, then you keep doing things, and then eventually you figure it out. That's the only way it works. So let's see. Kelly said how to book speaking engagements. Yeah, I mean, if you want to learn how to book speaking engagements, then just upgrade to the Speak Pro Academy. Then you get everything, all the programs, the weekly calls we do nonstop, and then I really show you how to get on stages. So let's see. Sally said, if you want to be a successful keynote speaker, do you still have to pay your dues by preparing for webinars? No, if you want to be a keynote speaker, you just got to be a good keynote speaker. That's it. I mean, back in the day, there were no such things as webinars. So it just comes down to you just getting good at speaking in general. So if you want to be a keynote speaker. See, Terrence said, what's the fastest way to discover your target audience? The fastest way is you're flipping the script. So you essentially look for the hungry market. Remember earlier I said that hungry market. You look for buyers. You say like, oh, okay, well, what industries are people already buying stuff? And then you go after them. So that's kind of what you're doing. So you're using websites like Quora, Quara.com. Or Reddit, and you're looking on websites like those to see what people are saying. You're looking at the questions people are asking, and then you're going through there, and that's essentially how you're going to find an audience of buyers. So let's see. Will said, "Oh, cool." So because I just zoomed in like crazy on this thing. Let me try to zoom out. If I can zoom out on this. All right. So let's see. Will say, yeah. So because he's a Speak Pro member, yeah. Will, you're good to go since you're a Speak Pro member. Oh, by the way, you do need to register for the webinars though. So you'll see the link in there. You do need to register for those webinars. So yes, it's free for all Speak Pro members. So Speak Pro members, you all like I said, if you're a Speak Pro member, I hook you guys up every time. Everything that's on the website as a Speak Pro member, you guys get access to all the current and future programs. So let's see. Bianca, thank you. Gay said thank you. Yep. Chuck, as Speak Pro members, yep, you have access. So any other questions about building and monetizing an audience, you guys can ask. I appreciate everyone for showing up. Now, let's see. Bianca said, thank you for the webinar. Learned so much. Cool. Thanks for showing up. Andrew said, practice makes perfect, but so many people want to be perfect before they practice. Yep, exactly. Yeah, it happens all the time. It's like people, they want to get to the end. They just don't see the path it takes to get there. And that's why I keep telling people how hard it actually is. I'm like, this is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life. If you got a job, just stay with your job. And so, yeah, it really is harder than most people think. And that's one of the reasons why I think people need help from someone else as well, because when you have someone else there with you, when you start to feel down, they can pump you up and they can create that sense of urgency inside of you. So let's see, Chandra, we will be dealing with you directly, or do you have a team? You're going to be dealing with me. Everything you see is going to be me. Everything you don't see is going to be a team. So in terms of the webinars, it's all going to be me. When you ask questions, I'm going to be the one answering the questions. So let's see. Can you give us a brief synopsis about Speak Pro Academy? Basically, Speak Pro Academy, it is the granddaddy of all granddaddy programs. It is the program where you not only get Industry Icon, you get, I think there's like, I don't know how many other, maybe 10 other programs inside of there that shows you how to get on stages. We do weekly calls. So every single week, we actually get on a group call. So I help you out with anything that you're going through, whether you want to get on stages, build your audience, doesn't matter. I help you out with all of it. We do that weekly call. We have a Facebook group. So inside a Facebook group, you can ask questions every day. We go off in a Facebook group. You get website templates. So I show you how to build your website really fast, and you get templates. So you know that your website is going to be really good just from the get-go, that you can actually just start getting on stages. The Speak Pro Academy is basically a complete speaking business franchise. That's pretty much what it is. And I know there are a lot of Speak Pro members on here. I mean, they'll tell you like it's the granddaddy of all granddaddy programs. There's nobody out there who will ever help you as much as I do. And so let's see. Honestly, like if you're thinking about Speak Pro Academy, just do it. Like you will not regret it. And so, yeah, I suggest you just upgrade to Speak Pro Academy. See, Barbara says, as a Speak Pro member, the information and all you provide is greatly appreciated. Cool. Thanks, Barbara. Thanks, Jay. Yeah, any questions you guys have, make sure you ask them before we're done here. Let's see. Kelly said, thanks so much. When does the Industry Icon start? I heard March. Yep, those are the dates. March 10th, 17th, 24th, and 31st. So we're going to start with part 1, then part 2, part 3, part 4. So that's essentially, but every single day. So it's not just going to be along the lines of you're just going to watch a webinar like this, and then you'll just be like, all right, I'm good to go. It's going to be more like March 10th is when we're going to start part 1. And then on the 11th, you're going to do something. On the 12th, you're going to do something. On the 13th, you're going to do something. The 14th. And so it's going to be every single day you want to do stuff. So you actually get things done. I absolutely hate programs where people just sit there, they watch something, and they're like, all right, I'm good to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually implement. We're going to start doing things. That's what we're going to do in Industry Icon. And Gay said, Speak Pro Academy is the bomb diggity. Lashandria said, awesome. Thank you. Your time's greatly appreciated. Cool. Thanks. Steve said, yep. Join Speak Pro, dude. Yes, Steve knows. And there's no one out there who will help you even close to as much as I can help you. So let's see. Any other questions about building an audience or speaking or anything? Let's see. Kelly said, thanks. Got it. Thank you for implementing daily. Yep. All right. Any other questions? Yeah, guys, make sure you register for Industry Icon. That's where we're going to talk about building and monetizing your audience. I'm going to help you build up your list. I'm going to help you sell your programs. And we're going to do this for just March, all the way from March 10th, all the way to the end. Let's see. Let's see. The cost of Speak Pro Academy. All right. So here, Sally, here's what you want to do is you want to first, I'm going to hook you up. This is something I don't normally do, right? So the Speak Pro Academy is $5,000, but go ahead, buy Industry Icon right now, and then just click on the upgrade, and then you'll get a discount. So do that right now. You will never, ever see me discount Speak Pro Academy ever other than this time. And so If you pay any other time, let's say you were to get Industry Icon only for $4.99, and then let's say in 2 months from now you say you want Speak Pro Academy, I will not take off $500 from the $5,000. I absolutely won't. I do not discount Speak Pro Academy because it's worth way more than $5,000. So what you want to do right now is get Industry Icon, and when it says, do you want to upgrade, click yes. And I'm telling you, you will get the hookup. All right, so let's see. Torrance said, if I'm launching a new book in 60 days, what's the best way to maximize that day? So if you're launching it, what you want to do right now, like today, you want to start contacting podcasters and try to get on their podcast ASAP. And it's similar to why you see like all these big gurus. They used to be like on TV all the time or on the radio all the time. Now they're contacting all these podcasters. So start contacting podcasters, get on their podcast and talk about the book, talk about what's going to be in the book and everything, and start doing that. And don't focus on like building your list or anything. You want to tap into other people's audiences since you don't have a lot of time right now. Just focus on getting on other people's podcasts. And by the way, do not contact like the big guys in the industry. They won't let you on their podcast unless you're big as well. So you want to contact like the medium people. So let's see. Jay said, I'm a damn good speaker and I only want to speak after living 18 years abroad. I feel like I'm starting new. Don't want to sell anything. I just want to speak. Do you have a program? Yeah. If you just join the Speak Pro Academy, then that's where you learn how to speak, or well, that's where you get on stages. And that's where I personally help you out. If you only want the system for finding and contacting events, then get Event Finder. You can go to like speakinglifestyle.com/event finder and you can get that. Or just go to speakproacademy.com and get everything. The difference is that Speak Pro Academy, I'll personally help you out. But if you just get the Event Finder, you kind of have to figure out stuff yourself. So let's see, what kind of discount? Zelly, it's half off. That's pretty much the discount. So $5,000, it's lifetime for $5,000. And if you get, so it'd be $499 for Industry Icon plus another $2,500 if you just want to upgrade like that. So basically, I'm telling you, it's just going to be cheaper if you upgrade like that versus if you were to just go straight to Speak Pro Academy, you're going to spend $5,000. But if you get Industry Icon, then upgrade, then you'll get it at half off. What time does it start? Honestly, I haven't figured that out yet. So I think I did schedule them for 12 p.m. as well. Actually, I think that's what I did. Let's see. I have commitments on 17, 20, 24th. It's been placed in advance. Do you have allowances for those that? It's up to you. I mean, I'm not going to do another webinar just because a couple people missed it. You'll be able to see the webinars, but it just comes down to you won't be able to ask questions. So it's like if you have a question, then you won't be able to ask me a question on those dates. So I really recommend that. I highly doubt that. Well, you got to ask yourself, how big is that commitment? So I know a lot of people think that they need to commit to something, but this is for the rest of your life. This is a business that you're building for the rest of your life. Like if someone would have told me like, hey, if for four weeks, well, for 30 days and just 4 weeks straight, I'm going to show you how to build a business where you'll have a business for the rest of your life. I'm telling you, I will cancel on everything. I guarantee I can care less. If someone dies, that's the only time where I'll say like, who is it? I guarantee that's what would happen. But this is for the rest of your life. So you want to cancel those commitments. See, Torrance said, appreciate it. Thank you. Yep. Thanks, Torrance. See, Sally said, I see you on your website that Speak Pro Academy is also available for 9. Yeah. Yeah. So if you do go for 19, if you do go for the $2,000 for 12 months, then you can do that. But here's the difference. So if you go for 12 months, after 12 months, you get kicked out and you don't have access to anything. Okay. So I don't really recommend that. You won't have access to any of the programs at that point. So I don't recommend that you just do the 12 months. I mean, it's up to you, but I just recommend you just get it for the lifetime access, and then you just have access to everything forever. Because it's like I said, remember Speak Pro Academy, it started out with 12 videos. Now, I mean, I don't know how much stuff is in there. There's so much stuff in there, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's a whole franchise in there. And I just keep adding stuff, just like how I added Industry Icon today. I just keep adding stuff to the Speak Pro Academy. So if you only have access for 12 months, after 12 months, you don't have access to anything. So I just recommend you just get it from the get-go, just the lifetime access. Because at placing, cool, yeah. Thanks, Kelly. Looking forward to yep, cool. I look forward to seeing you in there. So what's the link for Event Finder? Let me type this in. Hopefully I get it right. Let's see, HTTP. All right, Speaking lifestyle.com/event finder. Pretty sure that's the link right there. So yeah, that's the link for Event Finder. Let's see. Any other questions about anything? Building, monetizing audience, speaking, anything? So once again, with Event Finder, I really recommend that you kind of just get Speak Pro Academy in general, because that's where I help you out. I mean, like with Event Finder, what has to happen is you have to pitch events. And so you're contacting events. And if you have the Speak Pro Academy, then I talk with you on how to pitch the events better. So it's kind of like this member inside Speak Pro Academy. We talk about it all the time, where it's what I call, it's basically you're talking like an in-demand speaker. And what happens with a lot of speakers when they're talking with people and pitching them in an email, they don't talk like they're in demand. And so what happens with Speak Pro Academy is we talk about that. We say like, no, don't use this word, or don't use that. Like, for example, I think it was Will earlier, where he posted inside Speak Pro Academy. He was like, hey, I'm competing with all these other guys. The event is, I think he said like 10 grand or something, where he's going to get paid. And he was like, oh, so how do I kind of stand out? So I told him like, hey, just give him a call, right? Because all the other speakers, they're going to talk with them just one-on-one through email. I was like, give them a call at that moment. So that's the benefit of Speak Pro Academy, where Speak Pro Academy is basically, I personally help you out. And by the way, this is Industry Icon. Also invest in Industry Icon. Let's see. Sonia said, is the $4.99 for Event Finder? That's what came up. Yeah, don't want to click on this link and then leave. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see. So I'm going here. Oh, whoops. That was actually the wrong link there. Man, how do I give people the wrong link? Let's see. Oh, okay. So it's all one word. That's what it is. Let me go back here. Let me type that in here. So it's all one word. There we go. That's the real link right there. So it's actually that link there. So that's where you get Event Finder. But yeah, so make sure you get Industry Icon, upgrade to the Speak Pro Academy, and I'll help you out forever, like probably till I die. And then any extra programs, you get access for free. Just like all Speak Pro members right now, they didn't have to invest because they already had access to Speak Pro Academy. Any other questions from anyone before we're done here? Thank you, Sonia. Thank you. Any other questions? I'll wait for a second because I know there's like a 15-second delay or something. Gay said, thank you. Speak Pro has been worth every penny. I had to figure out how I could pay for it, but I'm so glad I did. Yep. Thanks, Gay. Yeah, see, Gay, that's the type of mindset you want. She's like, hey, I had to figure out how to pay for this thing, but I'm so glad I did. That's the mindset you want, where you're like, look, I don't have the money. Let me just figure it out. I don't have the time. Let me just figure it out. Like what I mentioned earlier, where can't remember who said it, but they said, I made commitments for the 17th and 21st. You basically say, you know what? I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to figure out how to show up, because I'm telling you, this is for the rest of your life. It's not about just a one-time thing. This is for the rest of your life. And I guarantee you, all my friends, my family, they know this. If I say this is the most important part of my life, and a friend comes over saying, hey, I want to show up on the 17th, I'll say, nope, sorry, you can't show up. I'm doing this thing. Like I said, this is building a business for the rest of your life. So there aren't too many things that you can say about that. Let's see. Thank you, Andrew. Yep. Thanks, Andrew. Any other last questions before we're done? I'll wait a couple seconds because I know there's a little delay. Make sure you just go to speakandlifestyle.com/industry icon, and you can get Industry Icon. You can upgrade to the Speak Pro Academy, where you'll get help for a lifetime, and then you'll get access to everything, the Facebook group and everything. Yep. So thanks everybody for showing up. Any other last questions? All right. So I think we are good to go. Thank you guys for showing up. And I will talk with you guys soon. We will do another one of these eventually. So thanks, guys. Talk to you soon.